Cheney, it's alive. Alive.
Underground rocks.
Not pollination. That's not it. Okay, so I've had some good experiences lately. I just haven't been talking about them. But I have these cool UFO ones. So the other day, I was talking to Joel, and then I kept seeing these gray alien faces, like really clear, and I'm like, wow, you know, because they haven't really shown themselves in a long time. Well, not gray alien faces, but these actually gray aliens. And then, okay, so that was a couple of days ago. And then, I went back to sleep after I saw the gray aliens, and then, but I don't know if the gray aliens tried to give me this experience or if Joel tried to give me the experience. So then, cause I had, you know, I had to go to work, so I didn't get up till like 20 after 7. I think the experience would have been longer, but the alarm woke me up. So it's like I was driving down Sunshine Street right there, Sunshine Street going east, and over to the left where the Taco Bell and stuff is. I looked up and there was like all these. Well, at first I thought they were airplanes. Looked to the left. Well, actually, mainly to the left, and then over. And you know where the Taco Bell is up in the sky, way far or kind of far away or whatever. And at first I thought they were like just a bunch of airplanes. But well, actually, some of them were just a bunch of airplanes and stuff. But I realized later they were actually a bunch of. Well, actually, it was a mixture of alien crafts as well as airplanes. And I knew that they were training to get ready for World War III. And yeah, so there was mainly just a bunch of like military airplanes. And the funny thing is, and like I say, it was a mixture of alien crafts and military human airplanes and stuff. And I knew, and at first it's like there was just a few, and then there was just like tons and tons and tons and tons. And then of course, after I, you know, opened my eyes, I'm like, well, God dang it. Because I know it would have been longer, but I think the alarm woke me up and it was like 20 after 7, and I should have been up way before then. But the funny thing is, there was these UFOs just like, kind of look like this, except this part wasn't on it. These weird things in the sky were just kind of floating along, and those were more like what I would call UFOs, you know, because they didn't look like an airplane. But that was kind of cool. I mean, there was just like tons of them, and that was right, you know, not long before the gray aliens started showing themselves to me. And so I don't know if they actually gave me that experience or if Joel gave me that experience, because I was talking to Joel, but all these gray aliens started coming at me. And then, and then I had this other experience probably about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, but it was kind of cool. It's like I was over there in a neighborhood. It's like I was checking out like an apartment to live at or something in a neighborhood, and it was over there by the YMCA, that neighborhood over there, pretty nice neighborhood. Myra! And okay, well, get over there, baby, honey. Yeah, or just get over there, sweetie. And well, this part was funny. Okay, and so like then all of a sudden I started seeing. There was a few people walking their dogs and, you know, in strollers and stuff like that. And and some women walking their babies in strollers. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I see a few people, you know, walking around. There's a few, one older guy, he was Middle Eastern. And then all of a sudden there was just like mobs and mobs of people like walking their dogs and kids and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is a busy ass neighborhood. And then a couple women were like, oh, that airplane just landed there. And it was kind of like in a courtyard type of area, kind of enclosed courtyard type of area. Like I said, this was a neighborhood I was scoping out, thinking that maybe I would like move to that neighborhood or whatever, in an apartment or whatever. And I looked down and I was like, that's not an airplane. That's a UFO. I mean, I don't remember saying that to them. I was just thinking that in my head. And it was so funny because as I was looking at it, I knew Joel was trying to make it look like a calculator, that calculator that I had just been using at work. Just a normal, you know, calculator that's this big that I use at work, and, you know, has buttons like that. And except this UFO, you know, it kind of had like wings, you know, like an airplane. Well, not quite like an airplane. They were kind of short. But it basically looked like this, but it was a UFO. But he made it look like a calculator, and I know he made it look like a calculator. Or he was copying that from my brain, you know. It's so funny. And there's a little bit of other parts too, because I remember actually going into an apartment. Like here was the courtyard, where the UFO landed, and then it was like over here there was actually an apartment complex, and I remember actually going in there and stuff and having some interactions, but I can't remember that part. But anyway, so but that was just kind of some funny experiences. But like I said, I wish that other one would have lasted longer. Over there by Taco Bell on East Sunshine, looking up and seeing all these UFOs and military airplanes. I mean, I knew it was the military, but they didn't necessarily look like military airplanes. And then I knew they were training for World War III. Okay, so anyway, but this morning, okay, so last night, I was telling Joel, you know, to give me a good experience this morning. And he did, man. He gave me a good experience. So this is how it started. At first, okay, now this was kind of weird too, because I'm not sure if I ever had one quite like this, that blended to, yeah, I can't explain it, but I never had experience quite like this, where, where it was all the same experience, but sort of like two separate scenes just blending into one so smoothly. I've never had one quite like this before. That blended together so smoothly. Okay, so, dear Myra, oh, me little Myra. Hope you're not pregnant, baby. You're probably not. You're probably not pregnant. But your brother, he done got neutered already. He done got neutered. Oh, wow, your belly kind of feels fat right there. But the vet said if she wasn't truly in estrus cycle or whatever, she wouldn't really get pregnant. But I looked at pictures of inbred cats on the internet. Now, I mean, I think it was a real cat. I don't know if it was photoshopped or what, but it had really far apart eyes. And I started thinking, oh my God, all these people that I see, all these humans that I see with really far apart eyeballs, they're inbred. Or very possibly could be inbreds. Or some kind of hybrid or whatever. But anyway, so, okay, so it started like this. And Joel, he gives me experiences in this apartment all the time. This is where I used to live back in the day. Enclave in Leawood, Kansas. This particular, actually the building I lived in, if this is what I'm thinking of, if that's the road that I'm thinking of, my building was directly across. And over here, I remember that guy that always walked along. he always walked like he was gay or something. I thought he was gay, but he wasn't. He just always walked funny but he lived in like a 2-bedroom, so his apartment was a lot more expensive because I lived in a 1-bedroom directly across. But it's not showing this building, but it pretty much looked just like this. And yeah, I remember him talking to me about the Egoscue method. This doctor or something wrote this book about how you're supposed to walk so your body doesn't get out of alignment. But anyway, I always wondered why he walked funny. Because I remember him saying he had some kind of car accident, and then I guess he found this doctor or chiropractor or whatever he was, and he wrote a book or whatever. But anyway, so that's why this dude, I always wondered why he walked funny. But yeah, he lived in that apartment. I can't remember if I think he lived upstairs, but it was like a much bigger one. I think it was like one of the 940 square feet. Mine was like 740 square feet. But anyway, so anyway, yeah, and Joel is always giving me experiences, back in this apartment. And so anyway, it started off, it started off, basically, I was back in my old apartment, this one, except the other building, you can't see. It started off, I was in that apartment, my apartment that I lived in, for 3 years or whatever, a long time ago, 2004 through 2006. And like I say, he's always given me experiences in that same apartment and all my apartments that I ever lived at. Okay, so I was walking around in there, but at this time, I knew it was my old apartment that I lived in once upon a time, but in the scenario, it wasn't my apartment, so to speak. I was using it as like a one night rental, like as if it was a motel or something. And it's like it was an apartment complex, but it was still being rented out, like a motel room. And too, in real life, I realized that stupid small apartment, which I think was probably like a 500 square feet or 540, something like that, that was right next to me. Yeah, I figured out that they were renting that one out as just a 1 month. Like, people would just move in for like a month, waiting for their house to be built or whatever. Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Okay, so, but it took me a little while to figure that out. But anyway, in the scenario, the apartment, I just kept walking around, doing my thing. It wasn't ever really clear why I was in there, because I knew I was really only supposed to stay one night. But I remember my mom called me on the phone, in the scenario. This is all under the scenario. My mom had called me on the phone, and she said I was supposed to stay there like a week. And so I was just kind of confused the whole time. I was kind of walking around my old apartment, which it wasn't, currently my apartment, it was just currently, I was just staying there, for 1 night or a week, whatever it really was. And so I started walking around and just kind of observing. At one point I saw a small little baby possum running along, and I was like, wow, if there's one little baby possum, there's got to be more, and maybe even some rats or something like that. But that was the only possum that I saw. One little baby possum, about 7 inches long, just scurrying across the floor. And the apartment, it started off pretty similar to what it was in real life, but as the scenario went on, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, it had a certain energy about it, which is just freaking awesome. Can't explain it, but it's so awesome. It just feels like you're in another dimension. And so I started going into the kitchen and observing. I was trying to figure out what the fuck am I gonna eat, because because they know I have this anxiety, like if I have to go travel and stuff, or you know what I mean. But now I think I would be pretty good at it. But yeah, well, you know, like if you can't go grab shit at McDonald's or any kind of restaurant, then you know you got to go to a health food store, get your food, blah blah blah. Well, you're gonna have to find freaking stove or whatever, microwave or whatever, to cook some of the shit, you know. But anyway, so I was just kind of anxious about that. Like, what am I gonna eat? Blah 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 blah. I kept going to the refrigerator and the freezer, opening it up. I kept seeing like all sorts of like salads, like in plastic containers, salads. In the freezer, I kept seeing all sorts of like TV dinners, like lasagna meals. And okay, so then all of a sudden, so after I was walking around in the apartment for like I don't know, like hours and hours and hours, all of a sudden this stranger just shows up and starts walking in my apartment, which I mean, you know, which was, it was an apartment, but it was just being rented out as a motel room in the scenario, basically. And he was acting like, no, it's my apartment. I mean, he said that he was supposed to stay there, you know, and I was like, no, it's mine. I got here first. I'm supposed to be here for at least a day, maybe even 7 days. And he acted like, no, he had already, you know, paid the, you know, the fees or whatever, or it was his basically. And I was like, you know, no, I already had paid, you know, for my 1 night or 7 nights. And I was still debating it, like, am I supposed to stay here 7 nights or 1 night? But I knew it was at least 1 night. And he was sitting there, you know, barging in on me when it was my motel rooms, my motel, so to speak, motel room, which was really an apartment. And so he just kind of like walked around, and we had other conversation too. And so this whole time, and so then I just kind of started, you know, ignoring him, just started walking around, doing my thing. I remember him walking into the kitchen many times, and also opening the refrigerator and the freezer and getting like a TV dinner out. All of this was very vivid. Getting a TV dinner out, and I was kind of glancing at it, and I was like, wait a minute, you know, I could probably eat that. And so I reached into the freezer and got me one exactly like what he had, and I was going to eat it and everything, and some salads that was already, you know, in the refrigerator and stuff. But so anyway, and I remember going down one big old hallway, and but like I say, at first it was pretty much exact, like where I used to live. And then, like I say, everything kind of started changing. The apartment started changing, and the hallway started getting longer and longer. And then as I was walking down the hallway, I started having visions of the road, of walking down the road, like figuring out where there's like a health food store and stuff like that. And all I saw was like nothing. There wasn't no commercial stores or anything. Which in real life, you know, there would be a health food store down the street or whatever. But so yeah, so I mean, but it was just fun, man. It was fun. And but yeah, a lot of it, you know, I was hanging out in the kitchen, and it did seem like it was 2 levels to it. And well, it actually is 2 levels, but you know, when I lived there, I wasn't able to go up to the other level because that was another apartment. But in the scenario, as far as I remember, I did go up to the other level and then back down again. And like I say, I just walked around a lot and just kind of confused. And basically, it's like I was waiting to do some kind of work training. I was waiting to, you know, to see when I was going to do some kind of training for work. But the discrepancy was I wasn't sure if I was supposed to stay there just 1 night or 7 nights. And I'm trying to think. Okay, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Or at least before I go to the second part. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Because like I said, he always puts me in this same, I mean, like many times, and there's like such a freaking blast. Okay, so, okay, wait, hold on. So, okay, so yeah, so when I saw the possum, the baby possum, you know, I was just like, I mean, it didn't like scare me or anything. I was just like, it was the coolest thing ever because I wanted to. I remember thinking, you know, to try to go catch it and maybe try to pet the little feller. And then I was thinking there has to be maybe some other little varmints, you know, but I didn't see anything else, just a little possum, you know, scurrying across. It was about 7 inches. So that would be like a young possum. And, okay, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting any. But I know we had some more conversation. And, you know, and I'm trying to think, but for whatever reason, both parts of the scenario, this part and the next part I'm about to talk about, I was in this like long white t-shirt and, it just, I mean, I think I had underwear on, and just like underwear, I mean, I don't remember being completely naked. So I think I had underwear on, but I just had this big long white t-shirt and then it just kind of barely, you know, covered my ass up or whatever. You know, and that's all I had on in this scenario and in the second one I'm about to talk about. Like, that's all I had on. and this complete stranger just coming in there, you know, just like, acting like that was his, you know, motel room, so to speak, aka apartment. And so that was another thing I was gonna mention. But I know we had some other conversation, damn it. And it might come back to me eventually. I'm trying to think. And like I say, when I was standing there in the kitchen, roaming around, looking around, I just kept having all these thoughts like what am I really gonna eat? Because I didn't really think I'd be able to eat those lasagna meals, those TV dinners that was up there. I just had all these thoughts, you know, like maybe I should look up there again just to see if there's anything I can eat. But deep down I knew it was really nothing I could eat except for maybe the salad. But I knew that wasn't really gonna fill me up. And then he would be coming into the kitchen as well, looking for food. And he, you know, got plenty of it too. The refrigerator was pretty full and the freezer was pretty full. And like I say, I know we had some other conversation, but I can't remember it at the moment. Okay, so then, okay, all of a sudden it just morphs into this VIP Illuminati sex party house, aka mansion. Okay, so, okay, and hold on, because, shit, I'm gonna forget that part. Because, you know, in this part of the scenario, of course, I was in Leawood, Kansas. But, okay, as far as I remember, okay, hold on. Once I was in the mansion, I knew what freaking town I was in. And it seemed like it was supposed to be either Dallas, Texas or Austin, Texas. As far as I remember. It was all of a sudden, like I say, it morphs into, I was supposed to be, like I say, it was either Austin, Texas or Dallas, Texas. And all of a sudden, like I say, it just, like I said, I never had an experience quite like this where it just blended into all of a sudden I'm in this mansion. Okay, so then, I started walking around and I was in the same clothing, just like my underwear and this t-shirt that just barely covered, you know, my ass and everything. And that's all I was in. I started walking around this mansion. Okay, then at first I saw very few people. Okay, well, I guess I'll try to. Okay, so here's the mansion. Okay, and so I started walking in this way. I mean, I didn't start walking in. I mean, I started walking this direction as it already morphed into the mansion. And I still had, you know, the same clothing on, just the white t-shirt barely covered my ass and everything up. And okay, all of a sudden, and this was all VIP people. Not all of them were well known. I saw, I think I saw maybe 4 or 5, but right off the, I can only remember 2 at the moment, but I think I saw at least 5 popular people, but right now I can only remember 2. I looked over here and there was Dick Cheney and Obama, and they were just kind of standing around or whatever. And I think there was about 2 or 3 other VIP people, so to speak. And I can't remember who they were at the moment. But there was Dick Cheney, Obama, and then walking kind of, this mansion was fucking huge. Okay, and then walking across over here, and I knew once it morphed into the mansion, I knew exactly where I was at. I knew exactly, I could have all sorts of sex if I wanted to. If I didn't want to, I didn't have to. And I chose not to, so I didn't have any sex or anything. I knew exactly what the hell it was. I never saw them having sex or anything. And this other guy, he wasn't necessarily a VIP person, but it was so funny. This guy that I talked to and this was kind of funny too, because I have no idea what he would look like 40 years younger or 30 years younger. But in the scenario, I did. Because he was 35 years younger in the scenario. This guy that I talked to a couple times, this employee at Home Depot, he's really short. He's a short man. Just a normal, straight, old, short dude. Don't seem gay or anything. Just total, straight looking man. Short, older. He works at Home Depot. And I've talked to him 2 or 3 times, in real life or whatever. And he was walking around over here. At this point, at first, I was sort of on ground level when I looked at Dick Cheney and Obama. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like I went kind of higher up to an incline. And that's where I saw the employee of Home Depot. But he was all more clean shaven. And of course, he didn't have his orange smock on, and he had nicer clothes on. But he looked 30, 35 years younger. And when I looked at him, I was like, oh, he's into this shit too. But in the scenario, it almost was kind of like he was some kind of VIP person, if you know what I mean. Not just an employee of Home Depot. Okay, so then, and I did, I started seeing some college students walking around, and they had no desire to have sex or anything with anybody. All they wanted to do was get drunk skunk. And eventually, I was trying to find, okay, this is kind of funny, but there was only 2 freaking bathrooms in this whole big ass freaking mansion. 2 bathrooms. And one of them was tiny. The other one was a little bigger with about 3 stalls. But I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, so it's over here, that's where I when I kind of started going up another level, that's where I saw the employee of Home Depot. And then, like I say, at first there was just like, I don't know, 5, 6 people. And then there became a lot more. It just became pretty packed. Well, I don't know, maybe not super packed, but after a while, the mansion, yeah, I would say then all of a sudden, it turned from, at first when I was walking down the mansion, 5 or 6 people, probably, oh yeah, I can't forget all this other parts, I gotta hurry up. Close to 60 or, close to, oh man, I would say at least close to 100. And not all of them did I zoom in on and see their face or anything. But, okay, so, wait, what was I going to say? So anyway, there was, like I say, when I saw the college students kind of walking along, I knew they were there to get drunk skunk, and eventually they went up into the bathroom because I was looking for a bathroom to go into. And they were like, blah, like barfing and shit in the bathroom because they drank too much. But that was one part of the scenario too. And then Okay, and then another part, as I was walking around, for whatever reason, I saw this list. You know, it was a list, and it was just as big as a piece of paper. It may have been a little bigger in the scenario, and what I was doing was, and like I say, there was probably at least 100 people eventually in the mansion, but there could have even been more. But what I was doing was I was looking at all the names of the people that were, you know, that were there attending it, and I was going down. Like there would be like Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew. Like the person that owns Coca-Cola was there. The person that owned Mountain Dew. The person that owned Pepsi was there. And there was all these business owners. And I knew, you know, that they were there, you know, in the mansion. And I mean, I saw, you know, details of the businesses, you know, but it's hard to remember. But I do remember like Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, and I looked at, I mean, at least 50 business names, but all I can remember is those three. And then, like I say, the only famous people that I saw, so to speak, was Dick Cheney, Obama, and like I say, I think there was maybe 2 others. But anyway, and then of course but he wasn't necessarily VIP. I mean, not in real life anyway. The employee of Home Depot, and actually in the scenario, I saw no sex going on, just people, you know, about to get it on, and only one. Actually, yeah, only one time. A group wanted to like call me over there, like this lesbo group, and it's like, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I'm not attracted to you. Okay, so I never did go over there. But that was the only group that called me up that wanted me in their group or whatever. But I was just kind of like, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I'm a loner. I'm just gonna sit here and be walking around on my own by myself. Okay, so okay, so I don't want to forget anything. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say the ending first, real quick. Okay, so eventually the authorities, the police officers, which that's kind of stupid, because all these people are above police officers, so the police officers, you know, they're lower on the pyramid, so that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so all these local police officers, they found out that, you know, that this was a big sex orgy party going on, you know, and they started, what do you call it? What's the word to use? There was I don't know, 7 to 10 men and women, police officers, you know, like coming out the front door, like about to barge in, you know, and that was the only time I was like outside of the mansion, and as far as I remember, it was dusk, and that's when I noticed, like, wow, the whole mansion looks so shabby and gross. And on the inside, it wasn't, just on the outside. And I think I know where Joel got that from. It looked really gross and shabby. I mean, like shack-like on the outside. But like I say, it was nothing like that on the inside. And so, but like I say, I was watching the House of Usher, and then and it looks all nasty on the inside or whatever. And I think they even showed it on the outside, that big house or whatever it was. And I know that's where he got that from, this idea. So yeah, so that was the last part of the scenario when the authorities found out and started, you know, they were running, you know, like gonna barge in, you know, because they knew there was this illegal sex orgy party going on in this big mansion. And another thing I was gonna say too, what was I gonna say? Brought back in memory, this place in Kansas City, many acres of land. It's private. Somebody owns it, but they 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 do charge fees sometimes, but like nudists will go there, or just a bunch of fucking freaks will go there, you know, nudist people, gay people. And then this one so me and a person went and checked it out, and then there were some freaks there, swinger type of people. This was during the daytime, and there was a couple nudists too. And they told me up on the hill there was some really bad shit that would go on, like S&M, sex type of shit, up on the hill. Now this was all in real life. And he's like, yeah, police officers will be there and everything. And then I started, but at that time, I was kind of dumb, so I thought maybe the police officers were there to maybe arrest people, if things got out of control or whatever. And now I'm thinking, oh, you know, now I'm thinking something worse. I'm thinking, like, well, like I said, the police officers were probably still kind of in a trance, and they probably didn't really know what was going on. They were probably just told to go there, make sure no outsiders comes in. Like, now I'm thinking it was more than that. Like, it could have been, you know, VIP people. It could have been presidents murdering little babies and raping little babies and shit. For all the fuck I know, you know what I'm saying? Of course, but I wasn't thinking that back then because I didn't know all that information back then. But that's what I'm thinking now. That it wasn't just regular Joe Blow people, like people in this neighborhood doing S&M shit up on the hills. It could have been VIP people doing ritualistic sexual abuse and shit like that. Okay, so that's in Kansas City, and I forgot what that place is called. It has a name. But anyways, it was, you know, kind of outside of Kansas City in a rural town. And I can't remember the name of the town. Okay, so that's all in real life. Okay, so back to the scenario. But what was I going to say? Okay, so back to the scenario. So, okay, so I already told you the ending about the police officers. Okay, so I started, okay, so then all of a sudden, like, I had to go to the bathroom, and I was walking around trying to find a bathroom. So, and that's when I started to come across the college students, and I go up the stairs, and I find one, you know, bathroom, kind of a small bathroom, and oh my God, the toilet was just filled up full of water. I mean, it was just all, probably piss too, but just completely filled up because it basically overflowed, but it was just completely filled up. And I was like, I can't go to the bathroom in that. So I still had to go to the bathroom. So I decided to walk out of the bathroom because that bathroom was too damn nasty because somebody, you know, stopped it up, and it was still completely filled up. The whole damn toilet was completely filled up. Yeah, and but it in the scenario, it actually just looked like water. It didn't look like piss. But oh, okay. Now, as far as I remember, I did smell gross odors, but it wasn't in this bathroom. It was in the second bathroom. Okay, so you know, just gross odors from, you know, a gross bathroom or whatever. Okay, so, and so I thought, okay, well, I can't go in this bathroom. I need to go walk around the mansion and try to find another one. Okay, so then I ended up going up more steps, and then all of a sudden, okay, this is so weird. I'm in this huge room. Well, it's not like a bedroom or anything. It's huge. You know, like, I don't know, you know, 20 times bigger than this house, you know, ceilings 20 times higher. And, okay, I kid you not, I looked around and I'm like, wow, like, why does it look like a shower, like walking into a shower or, you know, a bathtub where there's, you know, a shower all around or whatever, just like that. except the surface probably looked a little different in the scenario. I'm not sure in the scenario if it was plastic, acrylic, fiberglass, whatever, but it was a little rougher than this, I would say. But I mean, just the whole thing. And I didn't have those on the brain recently, I didn't think, but for whatever reason, Joel made it look like a freaking, like, just like as if you walked into the bathtub. Except you're walking into this big, huge room in a mansion that's, 10,000 square feet with, 200-foot high ceilings. And it looks like, and it was white, it looked like you're enclosed in a bathtub shower. And it was the most bizarre thing. And like I say, even in the scenario, I was like, why is this so odd looking? Why does it look like a freaking shower or bathtub or whatever? The walls. Okay, then all of a sudden I'm up high, because I already told you I walked up high, and I basically on this like ledge, and I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, people are just gonna fall over and kill themselves. I mean, this was like really far down. I was on this like ledge, and I was just like, wow, I just can't walk any further because I don't want to fall down. And as far as I remember, when I looked down, I don't know what the heck it was. The surface of the floor on that cliff or whatever it was, I mean that balcony or whatever, it was soft as far as I remember. It was like gray. It was soft. I don't know why it was like that, but it was weird. Okay, and then all of a sudden, it morphed. I turned back around and I looked again, and it wasn't a cliff. You wouldn't fall to your death. All of a sudden, if you would have went over, you would have just fell a few feet onto like something soft down below, like a softer surface. So Joel made it morph from you're gonna die if you fall over to where you're not gonna die if you fall over. You're just gonna fall over on something soft. Yeah, he does stuff like that a lot in the scenario. Okay, so then so then I found another bathroom, and it was a little bigger, and it had at least 2 to 3 stalls. And I did get on the pot and go to the bathroom and everything, but it was still gross. This whole bathroom was gross. There was like smeared shit stains on the floor, and it smelled really bad in this bathroom too. But I knew at least the toilets weren't all filled up full of water and crap, so I knew I could go to the bathroom. So I did finally go to the bathroom and everything. And this particular bathroom, god damn it, and I know I'm forgetting some, but anyway, forget some details. But so this particular bathroom was kind of more down again. I walked down some stairs, more on a bottom level. I got to the second bathroom, and in the interim, after I finally found a decent bathroom, but like I say, there was only 2 bathrooms in this huge mansion. In the interim, as I was walking, after I saw the college students and the bathroom, how gross it was upstairs, and I started walking down, hallway, and there was this woman that looked at me funny, like, like, a man was like grabbing hold of her hand, about to take her into a room, and they were gonna go, have sex or whatever. She just kind of had a smile on her face or whatever and looked at me. And so that was one part of the scenario. And then that was over like on this side of the mansion somewhere. And over here, there was like the lesbo group over here. And this was so funny. There was at least a group of 5 or 6. And one of the women, well, she's not a woman, she's a total man, I believe, 100% man. That basketball player is 100% man, I think. I don't even think it's an intersex person. Well, a transsexual, basically. What's that person's name? She was in the Russian prison. He was, I mean. Oh, man, I just thought of it a few minutes ago. Brit. Yeah. Uh, Britton Griner. I'll call him Britton. That sounds more Mel. Britton Griner. And yeah, and they were like trying to call me over to their group. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. And so I just started, so I rejected them, and they were all over here, about 5 or 6 women standing up, and, you know, in their own separate room. And about 5 or 6 women. And then, like I say, over here was that woman and the man, and they were going to go off and whatever. And for some reason, I know it was like a really small room that they were going into, but over here they were in a much bigger entryway, much bigger room. And oh yeah, and see, Joel, he probably got all this information from what I heard about Bohemian Grove or something. You know, there's all these little areas. If you want to have butt sex, you go over here. If you want to have whatever sex, you go over here, etc., etc. That's probably where he gets that from. But anyway, so I know see, sometimes other scenarios tries to seep through when I'm talking about one, because there was this I remember walking through this little tunnel, dilly bobber. Well, I don't know if you'd call it a tunnel. Like through, when I was trying to find that second bathroom, I remember walking through like an area where, yeah, it was almost like a little tunnel through where the boiler rooms and shit were. But I know I'm forgetting some stuff, man. To get to find the second bathroom. But okay, I'm trying not to forget anything. Okay, I already told you about the weird whole damn 20,000 square foot room was just all around, just looking like nothing but a bathtub enclosure, acrylic, fiberglass, like whatever it is. But it was a little rougher material, but it was all white like that. And like I said, I knew it was odd. I'm like, wow, this is so odd. But the mansion was huge. I'm trying to, okay, I gotta try to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, I already told you the ending. Okay, hold on. But I mean, it was a lot of fun because I told him to give me something good, and he did. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to remember. 2 bathrooms. Groups of people. College students throwing up. Yeah, they were barfing. But this scenario lasted a long time. I mean, it's such a blast. Okay, hold on. The bathroom, the balcony, going over to your death, and then all of a sudden it morphs into a few feet down with this kind of cushion floor. Okay, hold on, I'm trying to remember. And the list, I already told you about the list. I was looking down at the list, all the people that were attending. Okay, I'm trying. Okay, hold on. Okay, I think, I'm just trying to think, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. The toilets, but like I said, the second part, the second bathroom, yeah, it was a little grosser than the first. It had like smeared shit on the floor. And I know where Joe got that from too, because sometimes my cats will be kind of messy, and I'll have to clean little, stuff off the linoleum or whatever. So I know that's where he got that from. I'm just trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Okay, hold on. Well, if I remember anything else, I'll write it in the description. But yeah, I've never had a scenario like this where it just, I don't know, it just kind of morphs so smoothly. Or I don't know, it's so weird. But like I say, the apartment started getting kind of bigger and bigger before, bam, you know, I ended up in the mansion. But trying to think anything else I'm forgetting. Okay, well, I'll write it in the description if I remember anything else. But yeah, I do all this stuff like virtual reality. I mean, I even got on the pot and went to the bathroom. Okay, I'm trying to just remember. But the funny thing is, I don't ever remember seeing a bar, you know, where they serve the liquor. I don't remember seeing any food. Only in the apartment, you know, that my apartment, aka motel room that I was in. But if I remember, I'm trying to think. If I remember anything else, I'll put it in the description. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for listening, Myra. Hope you're not pregnant, girl.